Hi guys, Funk here, Scale Street Garage. Today's project is this Lesney Matchbox 34C, the Volkswagen camper, dated from 1967 to 1969. But as you'll see, this one is really bad condition. The glass is smashed, the side doors are missing, the table inside is missing as well. So this one makes a good donor for a custom job. Take it apart, it's easy, just two simple little tiny rivet posts at the front, and the back just hooks in. There goes the part interior, and there comes the broken glass. As you'll see there, just using the beeswax and baby oil mixture as a lubricant, as always, for my jeweler's saw. This doesn't take too long to get apart. I'm just cutting the back off to make it into a pickup truck. We're almost there, and there we go, that's the back off. Just clean the sharp edges off a little bit around the corners, and just take off the sharp edges. Just making sure that the back is level all the way around. And now to take away the internal footstep, because that's not needed. It's actually in the way for bridging the gap. Time to get rid of some of this paint. There's not a lot left on this. It's very well play worn, and it only took a few minutes. And once it's washed off, a quick going over with the old rotary tool and the wire brush attachment, and as you'll see, it comes up level and clean. It doesn't take long because there's not much of it left. Now time to bridge the gap. Just using some 0.5mm plastic card for this. Just going to mark it off for the right height and cut a piece longer than the actual gap, and I can glue that behind. And now just putting a panel in there just to make it come up flush with the bodywork. And to finish it off, just a thin bead going across the top to make the top edge up. Ensure that the bottom's nice and flush all the way around. And the top edge as well. And now we can put a little bit of filler over. As always, I'm using the Humbrol model filler. I love this stuff, I think it's brilliant. A lot of people use the Tamiya, but I stick with this. I think we all have our favourites. Now time to bridge the gap in the roof where the raised section was. Just marking out a piece that will fit in for once I've actually bridged the gap. And I'll just cut a piece and bridge it the same way as what I did the sides. Now that's bridged, I can put that little infill piece in and bring it up level with the roof, or pretty much perfectly level. Slightly a little bit low, but a little bit of filler can sort that out. And there we go, once again the Humbrol filler. There we go, once it's dried out, just sanding it back using just a flat file here. Just get the bulk of it off. And now for the rear panel. Once again, just using plastic card. Cut it over sides so I can just trim it back afterwards. There we go, simple as that. Snip, 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 and that's cut down. Just needs a little bit of filing and sanding, and it's to the contour of the roof. The roof's nice and dry. Just using some wet and dry sandpaper. Just using it dry there. Doesn't take a lot to get this down. It smooths out really, really nicely. Right, onto the wheels. So we're doing a wheel change, so I'm just going to chop these axles off. The wheels and axles can go into the spares department, and because the new wheels are quite a lot larger, I'm having to cut parts of the chassis away on either side, and then the rear deck will be tubbed out. So I'm going to be going for the Pro Street look. Final sanding. And then it's into the spray booth. All I'm doing here, I'm just putting some white primer. This is just so I can see whether there's anywhere that needs more filler or more rubbing down, etc. I put quite a nice coat on just in case it does need rubbing down. Right then, next little bit of cutting. I'm not going for the usual doors on this one. I'm going for the high knuckle look, or the BMW Isetta. I'm going to have an opening hinged front panel. Easiest way to gain access. I've not seen it done before, so I thought I'll go for this. It's different. The blade just didn't want to go where I wanted it to go on this one. I was at the point of throwing it across the room and I thought, no, calm down. It was just more awkward than anything. There's the door, but as you'll see, where I had troubles with the blade not going where I wanted it to, it actually it cut the corner of the window frame off, so I'll have to make a new part on the door. I'll do that in a minute. And once again, just using plastic card. Cut out a panel for the rear to bridge it, so it's got a fixture, and then I can just put a small L piece in just to replace the frame. And once that's cut back and sanded, then hopefully it'll look as good as new. So there you go, as you'll see, final bits of sanding back, and it don't look too bad. Now on to making the rear tub. Just using parts here out of an old pickup truck. And just sizing it up, get ready to cut it down. And once it's cut down, it fits quite nicely. Now for the engine. As I'm using the Volkswagen engine, I thought, well, we'll make it look a little bit bigger. I've got one of my old 3D printed engines, and I'm going to cut the sides off the V8 and stick them on the side of the VW engine. Always remember to use your lubrication, guys, and mind your fingers. Now just time to glue the sides on the engine, and then we can paint it up. Just cutting the rear tubs out now. They're not quite wide enough, so I've got to extend them out. And once again, all I'll be using for that would just be a 0.5mm plastic card. Nothing special. I'm just going to do square ones, well, rectangular ones, just like it had before, but slightly wider. Just getting rid of the paint off the chassis so that I can repair the gap. This is where the footwell was, where the doors were originally. So just like the sides and the roof, we're just going to bridge it and then put an infill piece inside, and then a bit of filler over the top. Now for the distributor for the engine. This is just 9 pieces of copper conductor, just inside a plastic tube, twisted and then super glued in, and separated them and made sure that there's one central one for the HT coil. And what we're going to do is just super glue this in place on the back end of the engine. And now I can drill out the plug holes ready for the HT leads to go into. So as it's a bit of a fiddly job, I'm just going to put into the mighty handy little portable vise. And we can start putting the HT leads in their places. Sorry about my fat fingers being in the way there, guys. Just snip them off, and then using a pair of tweezers we can put them in place. Normally I don't bother actually doing the distributor and the coil. I normally just tuck the cables down the back of the engine and that's that, but that's normally out of the way. So with this engine being out in the open in the back of the pickup, then I thought, yeah, I'll put a distributor on this one. So this build was actually going to go over to America. Outlaw Speed Shop has got his sister page over on Facebook, the Diecast Renegades and Hoodlums. And this is for this was going to be going over to Keith for judging, and it's like the Mustang build, but this one's a truck build, and it could be any vehicle turned into a truck. And this was my choice, but I didn't feel that it cut the mustard, so I've decided it's not going over there. I'll explain why later on, guys. So now just for a little bit more detail, where the drive belt for the blower was, it was flush, and I didn't like that. So what I've done, I've just got the rotary tool out, and I've got a burr on the end, and I'm just taking away the all the cast metal there, just so that it's actually a belt now. There's a nice gap going down to the engine, and it looks a lot better. Bit of a fiddly pig to do, but I think it was well worth the effort. I hope you guys agree. Now for a splodge of paint. And I hope you agree, guys. Don't you look pretty? All nicely detailed up. And now it's time to get these wheels on. Make sure everything's ready to fit them. Just using CA glue and just bridging it over, and then using some activator just to set it. This was going to be a non-wheeler at one point, but then I altered the geometry and made it so that the wheels would actually turn. It was a bit tight for the front end, but as I've altered things around and managed to get it all working, and give it a quick test trial to see if it fits nicely. Yep, fits perfectly. You see there, guys, it's changed to green from the undercoat. From the primer, sorry. I thought I was going to go green with this one. I lost the footage. I don't know what it is. I keep losing footage. I don't know if it's me pressing the record button twice by accident, because the video recorder is at the side of the actual spray booth, or if I'm catching it, I'm just not too sure. But I keep losing footage of recording when I'm actually spraying. So I went into the spray booth and it went in with a nice Tamiya bright silver for a base coat. But then my dreaded gremlins hit again, and the next part of spraying I didn't get, unfortunately. But you'll see it in a minute. There we go, guys. I'm just I use the liquid mask for this. What I did was I did the whole lot over the top of the silver in Tamiya clear yellow, and that gave me that lovely deep gold effect. And then I masked off the bottom, and the top half I just sprayed over the gold with Tamiya clear red, and I've got this lovely deep apple red, and it looks absolutely beautiful. So just doing some final painting up, just getting the interior done now. As you'll see, I've on the front door that opens, I've now made a door card and a dashboard for it as well, and just used plastic card for that, and filled it with the Humbrol filler once again. And then that got sprayed, obviously the same colour as the actual car. Just a touch of CA glue there, as I'm actually just using to stick a cord in. I made a parachute for the back, and this is just the rip cord for it. The parachute bag I just made out of milliput epoxide putty. Just made a little square of that, and then just folded it down so it looked like a folded bag. Drilled it, and then just put the rip cord into it. So getting into the final touches now, just using some Molotow chrome pen, just do the bumpers and do the window surrounds and the headlights and the side lights. Then it'll all be done. Quick recap of how we started with the super play worn and trashed, with the broken rear screen, the drop down screen from it, and from the top. The table was missing from inside, it's leaning to one side, and the doors have been robbed. And I hope you like it, guys. Here we go. It's the dragtub, and V8 powered, big block. Would love to take this down any drag strip. Have a look at the roof though, guys. Slight bit of marking on there. I did actually damage it, and so that's why I didn't think it was good enough for the competition. So I'm sorry, guys, but I'm forfeiting the competition on this one. Keith already knows. But I hope you like it, guys. Really do hope you like it. Big thanks to all my followers, all my subscribers, old and new. Really hope you've enjoyed this. Next one's, I think, is going to be a restoration job, the next one. Cheers for watching, guys. Catch you soon. Bye.